Hello, future homeowners. Today, we're designing an ideal family home for a couple with 2 kids. Mom, dad, and 2 children. Boys or girls, doesn't matter. What matters is the lifestyle. The budget is limited. So we're not building a mansion. Let's aim for about 1,075 square feet. That's roughly 100 square meters. A realistic, affordable family home. Let's see what we can get. Just like in a real architecture studio, everything begins with a conversation. You walk in and say, I want a house. And the first question you're asked is, how are you going to live in it? How many people? How private do you want your space? How much time do you spend together? Whether you hire an architect or pick a plan from a catalog, you still have to answer these questions first. Let's start with the kids. Each child gets their own bedroom. No sharing. On a tight budget, we'll make them about 130 square feet each. Why not smaller, like 100 square feet? Because in a house this size, 130 fits well. Why not bigger, like 160? Because realistically, a kid's room has a bed, a desk, a closet. That fits even in 100 square feet. So 130 square feet is more than comfortable. Tested in real life, including my own kids. Now the parents. Yes, we could make it the same size as the kids' rooms. But let's be honest, parents need more space. Closets, vanity, breathing room. So we go with 160 square feet. And of course, make it a master suite. Instagram has spoken. The master suite is non-negotiable. That means a walk-in closet, a private bathroom. In budget homes, walk-in closets are often tiny, about 30 square feet. That's barely usable. So we make it 65 square feet. The bathroom stays compact, about 45 square feet. Since storage and plumbing move into these spaces, the bedroom itself can go back down to 130 square feet. Perfectly fine. Next, the heart of the home, the kitchen living area. Separate kitchens and living rooms are basically extinct in modern homes. And that's a good thing. In your dreams, you'd make this space 2,000 square feet. In reality, we'll do 320 square feet. And trust me, that's solid. Many small homes squeeze this into 170 square feet. So 320 works very well. We already have one bath in the master suite. Now we need a shared bathroom, about 55 square feet. Then a utility/mechanical room, at least 65 square feet. Ideally bigger, but we're controlling the budget. And one thing I absolutely refuse to live without, a proper entry/mudroom. Its job is to block cold or hot air, stop dirt from spreading into the house. We'll give it 55 square feet. Finally, we need some kind of hall or circulation space. That space matters. It's still square footage you're paying for. Let's estimate 75 square feet. Add everything up. We land right around 1,065 to 1,075 square feet. Yes, totally improvised. Definitely not calculated in advance. Now, let's actually lay it out. A good layout works in blocks, not random rooms. Here's how we group them. Technical block, bath, utility room, entry. Kids block, 2 bedrooms. Master suite, kitchen, living space. The hallway should sit in the center, so every room connects logically. Small houses with off-center halls waste space fast. The master suite is one of the most important spaces in the house. And yes, Instagram moms are right about one thing. A real master suite is a private retreat. Guests over, door closed. You have your own space. Kids watching TV, you escape. The correct way to enter a master bedroom is through the closet. You walk in, change clothes, bathroom, bed. The closet becomes a buffer, blocks noise, hides bathroom sounds, adds privacy. I strongly recommend this setup. One common mistake, turning the kitchen living area into a pass-through hallway. Doors everywhere equals no walls for furniture. You lose TV wall, couch placement, kitchen layout options. Instead of adding a full wall, we add a partial wall/column, about 5 feet long, not touching the ceiling. What this does? Keeps the hallway bright, separates traffic from living space, preserves full walls for furniture. Now zoning becomes easy. Couch here, TV there, linear kitchen along the wall, table closer to the entry. Clean, flexible, efficient. Suddenly, the house grows to 1,130 square feet. Oops, so how do we reduce cost? Two options. Cheaper materials, bad idea. Slightly reduced size, correct choice. We simply trim 12 to 18 inches from one exterior wall. What happens? Utility spaces shrink slightly. Still fine. One kid's room drops to about 108 square feet. Let's be honest, the younger child survives. Now we're back under 1,075 square feet. And we still keep master suite, generous living space, good storage. Yes, of course. And here's the trick. Because the house is built from 4 independent blocks, we can rotate and swap them. Forest view here, move the living room. Road on this side, shift the entry. Carport planned? No problem. Move kids' windows. Flat roof, gable roof, terrace, bay window, all doable without redesigning the house. That's the power of modular planning. All plumbing stays concentrated in one zone. 2 bathrooms, utility room, laundry that. Lowers cost, simplifies construction, improves reliability. Kitchen plumbing is minor by comparison. Ventilation stacks stay compact. Electric stove, simple hood. Easy. We get a highly customizable home, flexible orientation, clean engineering, and a solid layout. All within 100 to 105 meters squared, or approximately 1,075 square feet. Guys, I really recommend checking out my previous video where I show how I built a $30,000 house step by step. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, tell me in the comments what you disagree with and what you would improve. Good luck, and see you in the next one.